Ashtavakra Gita, Chapter 13. The Bliss, Absolute, Happiness that Needs No Cause. 12 chapters have passed. The student has become the master. The seeker has become the found. How to abide in the self has been described, not as a method, but as a natural state. But there is more to be said, not as teaching, but as song. Today, King Janaka will speak of the bliss absolute, not the bliss of achieving, but the bliss of being, the joy that needs no cause, the happiness that is your very nature. Ashtavakra emerges from the shadows. He moves like moonlight itself, silver, silent, soft. His crooked form seems to straighten in this light, as if the moon recognizes no distortions.
You glow tonight, King, like the moon, but brighter.
The moon borrows its light, Gurudev. This light borrows nothing.
Then speak of this light. Speak of the bliss that needs no cause.
You want me to describe the indescribable?
I want you to sing. Let the words flow like moonlight, illuminating without effort, beautiful without intention.
Then I will sing, not as Janaka, not as king, but as that which has always been singing. Let the song flow for those who still need music.
A monk in a loincloth, sitting by the river, his face tense with effort. Beside him, King Janaka on his throne, utterly at peace. The contrast is striking.
Let me begin with a paradox, one that will shock those who think renunciation means running away. The tranquility, which is born of the awareness that there is nothing else but the self, is rare even for one who wears just a loincloth. Therefore, by giving up the ideas of renunciation and acceptance, I live in true happiness.
This will confuse many. They think the loincloth is the sign of renunciation.
The loincloth is just a cloth. The begging bowl is just a bowl. True renunciation is not about what you wear, it's about what you know.
2 figures, one in rags, clutching his few possessions, one in robes, utterly free. The contrast shows that freedom is inner, not outer.
The awareness that there is nothing else but the self. This is the key.
Yes, when you know, really know, that only the self exists, what is there to renounce? What is there to accept? Renunciation and acceptance are both movements within the dream. But the dreamer knows, only the self is real.
So the monk in the loincloth may still be bound, and the king on the throne may be free?
Exactly. The loincloth doesn't liberate, the throne doesn't bind. Only ignorance binds, only knowledge liberates.
And you?
I have given up the ideas of renunciation and acceptance, not the actions, the ideas. I still rule, I still wear robes, I still eat from golden plates, but I don't think I am renouncing or I am accepting. I just live. And in living, I am happy, truly happy, unconditionally happy.
3 scenes, a laborer exhausted from work, a scholar exhausted from study, a meditator exhausted from practice, all tired, all striving.
Now let me describe what I've left behind. There is weariness of the body here, fatigue of the tongue there, and distress of the mind elsewhere. Having renounced this in life's goal, I live in true happiness.
Weariness of the body, physical exhaustion from work, from service, from practice.
Yes, before realization, I pushed my body. I performed rituals, served the kingdom, disciplined my senses. The body grew tired, but I thought this tiredness was spiritual.
Fatigue of the tongue, from chanting, from praying, from speaking truth.
From all of it, the tongue that chants Rama, Rama can be as tired as the tongue that argues and gossips. Effort is effort, whether sacred or secular.
A parrot in a cage, repeating Rama, Rama. The words are holy, but the bird is still bound.
And distress of the mind.
The mind that struggles to meditate, that strives to be still, that fights its own thoughts. This mind is distressed. Even the effort to be peaceful creates tension.
So you renounced all this?
I renounced the effort, not the activities. They continue. But the sense that I am doing this has dissolved. The body works without a worker. The tongue speaks without a speaker. The mind thinks without a thinker.
And happiness?
Happiness is not something I achieve. It's what I am. When the striving stops, what remains is bliss. Not the bliss of getting, the bliss of being.
A river flowing to the sea. It doesn't think I am flowing. It just flows.
Then I understood the deepest secret. Understanding fully that nothing whatsoever is really done by the self, I do whatever presents itself to be done, and so I live in true happiness.
Nothing whatsoever is really done by the self. This sounds like inaction.
Not inaction, non-doership. The river doesn't do the flowing. Flowing is its nature. The sun doesn't do the shining. Shining is its nature.
And you?
I don't do anything. Actions happen through me. Ruling, loving, speaking, breathing. But no I claims them. They arise naturally, like waves on the ocean.
Waves rising and falling. No effort, just nature.
Whatever presents itself to be done. This is spontaneity, not planning.
Yes, before realization, I planned everything. I calculated, strategized, worried about outcomes. Now, what comes, I do. What doesn't come, I don't miss. Life flows, and I am the flowing.
And happiness.
Happiness is not in the doing or not doing. Happiness is in the knowing that I am not the doer. That freedom from the burden of doership, that is bliss.
A yogi sitting in meditation, his body still but his mind racing. Beside him, a king on his throne, active but peaceful. Which is more free?
Now a truth that will upset the orthodox. The spiritual seekers who are attached to the body insist upon action or inaction. Divorced from both association and dissociation, I live in true happiness.
Attached to the body. Even those who renounce the world can be attached to the body of their renunciation.
Yes, the monk who thinks, I have renounced everything, is still attached to his renunciation, attached to his identity as a renunciate.
And those who insist on action.
The householder who thinks, I must act, I must serve, I must achieve, also attached to his role, his duty, his identity.
Two birds in two cages. One small cage, one large. Both are cages.
Both are bound.
Both. One by action, one by inaction. Both by the belief that what they do or don't do matters.
And you?
I am divorced from both association and dissociation. I don't associate with action, it just happens. I don't dissociate from inaction. It just happens. Both are waves. I am the ocean.
Day and night, both necessary, both natural, both passing.
Then the pairs dissolved completely. No good or evil can be associated with my staying, going, or sleeping. So whether I stay or go or sleep, I live in true happiness.
No good or evil. This sounds like moral chaos.
To the bound mind, yes. They think if good and evil don't exist, anything goes.
But that's not what you mean.
No. I mean that good and evil are judgments of the mind. They belong to the doer, not to the self.
A knife can be used to heal, surgery, or to harm, violence. The knife itself is neutral. The intention gives it meaning.
So actions themselves are neutral?
Actions are just movements. The body stays, goes, sleeps. These are natural functions. The mind labels them good or evil based on its conditioning. But the self just watches.
And you?
I stay, happiness. I go, happiness. I sleep, happiness. Not because the circumstances are good, but because happiness is my nature. It doesn't depend on what I do or don't do.
A man sleeping peacefully, another man striving, achieving, exhausting himself. Both wake to the same dawn.
Then I saw the futility of striving. I do not lose anything by sleeping, nor gain anything by striving. So giving up thoughts of loss and delight, I live in true happiness.
Most people think striving brings gain. Sleeping brings loss.
Most people are asleep even when awake. They dream of gain, they fear loss. But both gain and loss are dreams.
In the deepest sleep, do you gain or lose?
Neither. In deep sleep, I am simply myself. No thoughts, no worries, no achievements. And that state is blissful. Not because I gained anything, because I was myself.
Deep sleeper, peaceful, complete, lacking nothing.
And in waking?
Same. Whether the body sleeps or strives, I am still myself. The striving doesn't add to me. The sleeping doesn't subtract. I am what I always was. Full, complete, blissful.
So you don't strive?
Striving happens sometimes. Rest happens sometimes. Both are waves. I am the ocean. The ocean doesn't gain when a wave rises. It doesn't lose when a wave falls.
A child playing with bubbles, delighted when they form, unbothered when they pop. The child's happiness is in the playing, not in the bubbles.
Finally, I observed the nature of pleasure itself. Observing again and again the fluctuations of the forms of pleasure, and so on, in different circumstances, I have renounced good and evil, and I live in true happiness.
The fluctuations of pleasure. What did you observe?
I watched pleasure arise and fall. I noticed that the same thing that gave me pleasure yesterday gives me boredom today. I saw that what delights one person distresses another.
And what did this teach you?
It taught me that pleasure is not in objects. It's in the mind. The object is just an occasion. The mind projects pleasure onto it, then withdraws it.
A screen, different movies projected. The screen remains the same.
So pleasure is not real?
Pleasure is real as experience, but not as substance. It comes and goes. It depends on conditions. But the happiness I am, that depends on nothing.
And good and evil?
Also projections. also dependent. The self is beyond both, pure, free, blissful.
7 oil lamps lit around the banyan tree, one for each verse of this chapter. Their light mingles with moonlight, creating a soft, ethereal glow.
Janaka, you have sung 7 verses today. 7 songs of the bliss absolute.
7 waves, 1 ocean.
Let me name them for those who will come after. 1. The tranquility of knowing nothing else exists, rare even for monks. 2. Renouncing the 3 fatigues of body, of tongue, and of mind. 3. Knowing the self does nothing, acting without doership. 4. Beyond action and inaction, free from both. 5. Beyond good and evil, unaffected by moral judgments. 6. No loss in sleep, no gain in striving, the self unchanged. 7. Seeing through the fluctuations of pleasure, abiding as bliss itself.
7 verses, 1 truth, the bliss absolute.
The moon reaches its zenith. The garden is flooded with silver light. The 7 lamps seem to merge with the moonlight, their flames barely visible in the radiance.
And now, King, beyond all verses, beyond all descriptions, what is this bliss?
It cannot be described. It can only be this, not the bliss of getting something, the bliss of being everything, not the happiness of achieving, the happiness of being.
Does it come and go?
What comes and goes is not bliss, it's just pleasure. Bliss is what remains when all pleasures have come and gone. It is your own nature. You don't experience it, you are it.
Then the teaching is complete.
The teaching was never needed, but for those who think they need it, it's here, like moonlight for those who think they're in darkness.
The garden at midnight, moonlight on the pond, 7 lamps burning, 2 figures sitting in silence, not 2, really, just awareness, aware of itself, blissful without cause. Thus ends the 13th chapter of the Ashtavakra Gita. The bliss absolute has been sung, not as something to achieve, but as something to recognize. The joy that needs no cause, the happiness that is your very nature.
I do not lose anything by sleeping, nor gain anything by striving. So giving up thoughts of loss and delight, I live in true happiness. Not the happiness of getting, the happiness of being.
Observing again and again the fluctuations of pleasure, the wise one renounces good and evil and lives in true happiness. Not the happiness of circumstances, the happiness of the self.
One by one, the 7 lamps are gently extinguished, not by effort, just naturally, as all things end. The garden returns to moonlight and silence. 2 figures sit in the silver glow, not 2, really, just the self, aware of itself, blissful without cause. Take a quiet moment and reflect. Right now, who is aware of these words? Who is aware of this moment? That awareness is your true nature. If this teaching resonated with you, consider supporting the channel by liking this video and subscribing for more explorations into Advaita, meditation and inner awakening. And in the comments below, share what insight touched you the most. Your reflections help this wisdom reach more seekers around the world. Thank you for watching. May peace, clarity and awareness guide your path. Until the next video. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. End of chapter 13.